Hey, welcome back. I got a request on how you can create these sort of images, and today I want to show you how you can create the scene. So first of all, you need a model, and I'm not going to show you how you create a model in this video. So we have one cube under, it could be a plane too, then a plane behind it, and then a plane in front to make some reflections. Okay, so what we need first is a plane or cube, and we also want to scale it down to our size and move it under the model. And I want to select the vertices with this snap tool, and I can then press G, Z to move it in Z axis, and then Shift Tab to snap it to a vertex down here. And if you want to, you see it's clipping into the mesh like this, then we can press G, Z and hold Shift and move it down slightly. So now it's not inside the object. And now with this cube, we will put on a texture. And I usually go with a wooden texture or stone texture. It sort of depends on what type of vibe you want to get. Go into the texturing. I will make a new texture called wet stone. And in here, we want to create a sort of rough texture. So from the normal, I will create a bump map or node. And then from the height, I will have a noise texture. And then we go into viewport and we can see that we have some bumps now. And we can set the detail to quite high and the roughness to even higher. So we want to just experiment with different styles. And since I want a stone texture, I will try to replicate a stone. It can also be easier to add a color ramp like this, and then here, and then we can turn this closer to each other. So now we see more easily what we are doing, and we can also go out of the cycles. And if you want to, we can add a mapping to UV. And we can also go into edit mode, press A, then U and unwrap, and we can have cube projection. Then it's all up to finding the right texture, and we can do this by either coming up with something ourselves, or we can download a texture from online, but I will try to make my own procedural material, and then I will have a mix. Then we can add another texture here, can also do it like this, something like this. And also you can change these colors if you want to. If you want to have them blue or another green color maybe. I will change these colors a bit later, but I think I like this. Now, because I want to have the stone wet, I want to add a coat. You can also add or turn down the roughness, but I like turning up the coat, you see here. And then just for reference, we can turn down the roughness. But you see with the bump node, it sort of doesn't really look right. So I will have it at 0.5. If we want to, we can also turn up the metallic and then turn down the roughness. We need to go into cycles here. So then you get this reflection here, and that's nice to look at. We can also change the roughness of the coat, and those reflections sort of fades out. But I like this sort of reflection that we get. So right now, if you just look straight ahead, it looks quite good. And also, I forgot to tell you that in the background world texture, I have set the color to white and the strength to 1. We can, if we want to, turn this to black, but we won't see anything then because we don't have any lights right now. So I will add a backplane and I will rotate it by hitting R and then Y and 90, and then move it back, and then scale it up. And I want to align it with this stone like this. If we want to, we can also turn this back a little. It depends on the look you want to have. And then for the camera, we'll see if we can add camera. And then I pressed Ctrl Alt 0 on my numpad to snap the camera into my view. Uh, so when you have a camera, you can also try to have it in the center as much as possible. And if you see the edge of the stone texture, we can go into edit mode or object mode and just scale it on the x-axis in this case. And for the back plane, I will add another texture. And with this one, I want to have the similar colors of this stone texture. So I will add a sort of green bluish texture. And I want to have it quite dark. And we will mix with this later when we have lights. So I will also press Shift D and move it on the x-axis and then rotate it on the y-axis to have a backplane behind the camera so we can get some nice reflections. So what we do now is we want to add a spotlight and move it up on Z-axis. And in the settings, I will turn up this power slightly, not by much, but just enough so we can get some shadows. And the blend I will turn up to 0.5 so we get that smooth edge. And then I will also have shadow caustics on, and you also want to enable it here under caustics under the render settings. And one thing more that I want to add on this slide is use nodes. So here you can do similar things as you do with the textures. And in this emission, we can add a texture like this and have a Gobos image. You can search Gobos image on Google and you will find different patterns of leaves or trees. The reason why we want to add a texture like this is because we want to have some realism, and it also makes it looks very nice. And right now we won't see that much of a difference, but if we turn up the power quite a lot, we will see our image. So what we can do right now is we can move this up, and you see the further away you get it, the more nice it looks. And if you want to have it like this, you can have it above, but I like it more when I turn it to the side like this and also rotate it on the x-axis like this, so we get a light that is fading away like this. And then I also want it to shine a little bit on the backplane. So now we see we have some light on the backplane and it's looking very good. If you want to, we can turn up the lights depending on the mood you want to have. But I think it's too far back, so I want to have this light shine towards this glass bottle. so we can get some better reflections. And I will grab this yellow thing and put it on the glass. So right now it looks very good. And if we want to, we can turn it to the side like this. And this is all experimenting with your liking. So you can turn up this quite high too. Maybe move this a bit closer. And then what you want to do when you're satisfied with the look, we copy this, Shift D, and move it on the y-axis here and rotate it again from the other side. And I will make sure that this light shines towards here, and I will also turn it down quite a lot. So right now we have the look that I'm after, but the colors aren't right. So right now we can change the color here, and also the backplane doesn't have as much reflections as I want to have them. So I will turn this up, and I might also turn the metallic up and the roughness a little bit down, so the light reflects more on the background. So we want two lights on either side, and then we also want the same kind of light coming from straight ahead. And now we see the light here up here, so I will select that light and move it down slightly so we don't have that reflection. And then behind the glass, I will add a point light, and I will move it on the x-axis behind. So right now this light is behind the glass bottle, and this makes it look very good because we have these shadows here from the light. It sort of stands out right now. Right now we can just play with the texturing a bit. Now it's all up to some finer touches. And one thing more that you can play around with is the color management. And here I have the look to very high contrast, and I also set the exposure to -1 and the gamma to something like this. So right now we have a scene that I like and I think is very beautiful. So if you like this video and you like this kind of styling, please give it a like. And if you want to see more of these videos, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next video.